Good morning, everybody. Somehow I overcame the desire to make this video much earlier, got some learning in, so I got some spiritual energy to make this video without being too upset and too triggered by it. So anyway, the subject I wanted to discuss today was this news that came out that a lot of people have been sending me on social media. I've got it on Twitter and Facebook and Facebook Messenger. People I don't even know sent me messages, and people that I do know sent me WhatsApps about this story in the French Hill section of Jerusalem, where a family was exposed to be Christian missionaries disguised as Haredi Jews, and the man claimed to be a Kohen, and he actually performed Pidyon Ben for a few people, and he also was a Sefer Stam who wrote Sifrei Torah and Mezuzahs and Tefillin, a scribe. So I guess he heeded the scribes, and the story was that his wife died. They had a lot of children. I don't mean a lot of children. I have 7 children tonight, so maybe they had 7, maybe they had 10. I don't know. They had, a normal Haredi family, and I should probably strike that from the record. That had a lot of children. It's good to have a lot of children. I'm not judging. It's a mitzvah beim Inzer Heimische Eden. But anyway, this guy was exposed to be a Christian missionary, and they collected money for the family, to support them after the wife died, and then they noticed that the kids were mentioning certain Christian type of things in school. They were enrolled in Haredi schools, and so interesting story coming out of Jerusalem. And now the question is, what do we do? Mamish have Sefer Torah Nichtav Min. Will we be seeing the Sifrei Torah get burned? That's the halacha. Is mamish the halacha Sefer Torah Nichtav Min? Although now the question is he a min or is he a goy? Is he actually Jewish? Is he actually a Kohen that he claims and he believes in Christianity, or is he actually a Gentile who never converted? Although then there's another issue, is Mistama, if he's a Sefer, he's going to the mikveh regularly. Mi loy tova l'keria. If you're really a brisker and you learn the Rambam and everything, so does he have a din of a min, of a ger shechoisel asuroi, even if he wasn't megayer with the bezdin? It's a lot of shilas. What do you do with these Sifrei Torah, Mezuzahs, and Tefillin? Are they burnt, or they go to Geniza? Are they buried? A lot of interesting halachic questions here. I was, all these people sending this to me, and particularly people I don't know, I was kind of wondering, are they kind of like suggesting that I'm also a secret missionary or something? Because I do talk, when I'm speaking, I speak in a manner that I would hope that a religious Christian would be able to understand what I'm saying in general, even though I could speak a yeshivische Sprach, or I can speak in Yiddish and actually speak in Yiddish and not the combined English of the yeshivische Sprach. And I could do all the different languages, right? Ivrit, I choose not to, because like the Rebbe Zechron Levracha said that it's worse than Christianity to speak Ivrit. But if I have to, I have to. But I try not to. But anyway, so here we are. I am not a missionary. I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in Jesus. I think we can get that out of the way just in case anybody was wondering that. Um, what do I believe about other religions? I respect them. I do. Because we are in Golis, we are in exile, and this I do believe 100%. I know it's controversial, but this was the same thing that Rabbi Sachs, Zichron Livracha, believed, and he got in trouble for writing. And a lot of the modern Orthodox thinkers believe about other religions. Certainly we respect religious people of other religions. I remember, to have, a Rebbe who, like Rabbi Weinberger, who really doesn't have respect for other religions for the most part. Still, when Cardinal O'Connor died, he said, he was one of the good ones. Turns out that he was actually Jewish. Cardinal O'Connor, his mother's mother, was Jewish, but that he was a friend of the Jewish community and a real authentic friend, not just not a missionary, not trying to convert us. Just he was a good person, and the fact that he was able to say that with all the other things that he always said against, not only, generally not only not having respect for other religions, but usually not having respect for the people of the other religions, and saying pretty nasty things about them in class, and I think even on record on his shiurim that are widely available. I'm not revealing any secrets, and yet the fact that he was able to say that points to something. But of course, I have other Rebbeim that I respect that maybe I wasn't as close with, but I've met in person, particularly Rabbi Ariel Bar Tzadok, who I know Rabbi Weinberger is not a fan of, but I have tremendous respect for it, and really that's where I get my hashkafa. He used to be a very strong anti-missionary, and he he came to understand that it doesn't work that way, and I was the same way. I was very hot-blooded anti-missionary, and I realized how empty a lot of this anti-missionary work is. And another one of my Rebbeim, Rabbi Siegel, who I mentioned somewhat, is more of a private person that people don't know as much, although the people who know him know how great he is. He said, the main thing is to focus on positive things. Instead of being anti-missionary, just be pro-Jewish. And of course the very famous anti-missionary group is called Jews for Judaism, not Jews against Christian missionaries, but Jews for Judaism. It's not, and that's a big problem that I think Jews in general have, that they just being Jewish to a lot of Jews just means not being Christian. And they wind up not recognizing they think that a lot of Jewish stuff that's actually Jewish. I'm not talking about how the missionaries try to paint Christian things as Jewish when they're not. I'm talking about stuff that's like actually Jewish. So many secular Jews, think of as I'll use a term that's offensive, as goyish. And I'm meaning that because in the context, that's how they see it. And it's wrong, meaning, to the point where if you are pro-life, oh, you must be a Christian. No. We have a different view than the Catholics have, in the very rare cases where a mother's life is in danger. But there's a lot of different views within halacha and within Jewish thought about that issue. And it's not cut or dry. And there are people who would be pretty close to the pretty standard Republican view on the issue within the Jewish world, to the point, where people accuse Ben Shapiro of being some kind of a Christian missionary or something when he's clearly not. And a lot of these other issues within the Jewish world, how do we interact with these things? But I mostly take my views on interacting with these other faiths in the sense that I recognize it's not mine. I am Jewish, and Judaism is my religion, 100% rabbinical, classical, Orthodox Judaism. I believe to be 100% the true faith. But I get inspiration from teachers of other faiths, whether they be Buddhist or Christian or Muslim, and learn parables from them, as my Rebbeim do too. I know, one of my Rebbeim who I'm very close with, and I don't want to embarrass him with this, but he's related to one of the people who sent me this message. He told me that, sometimes, he'll be in the car with a non-Jewish driver, because he doesn't drive himself, and the driver would like to listen to Christian preaching on the radio, and he listens intently because he'll get a joke that he can use in his own drushes and this types of things. And he was honest with me about that, and I don't mean to embarrass him by saying that. That's why I'm not mentioning his name. But a joke, a parable, a story, you can sometimes get from some of these sources. But also we have to be recognizing the difference. Meaning, so for example, there's one thing that I quote often, is Bishop Fulton Sheen would often say that he believes that his church has 100% of the pie of truth, but the other religions and other traditions could have half of the pie, a quarter of the pie, 90% of the pie, 75%, 99% of the pie. And there is a certain level of truth within that, and the examples that he brings, for example, would be that within his own Catholic Church tradition, they have tremendous reverence for the Greek philosophers. And he said when bringing the church to the East, why can't the Eastern philosophers be embraced in the way that the Western pagan philosophers are embraced? That type of an idea. And the truth of the matter is, our own Rambam embraced Aristotle, and a lot of the Rishonim embraced teachings from Islamic teachers. We don't exist in a vacuum, and we have to be honest about that. You learn words in Chazal and in the Rishonim that are Greek words, etc. Even names of angels are sometimes Greek words. So we have to be cognizant of these facts, while knowing that who we are. Like the Kutzker said, 99% truth is 100% false, and that's true as well. And how do we balance that? How do we balance that we live in a world where yes, we believe Judaism, that's 100% truth, and some of these other things could have some good things in them. Chazal say, Yesh Torah ba'amim loy tamin, and Yesh Choch ba'amim tamin. If someone tells you that there is revealed truth among the nations of the world, don't believe that. But if someone tells you there's wisdom among the nations of the world, that you can believe. And this is the healthy way to balance these types of questions. I know I didn't get that much into this actual story. I'm already here at work. But it's also, how do I deal with this personally? Because I'm a supervisor for clergy of other faiths. And how do I balance that as a chaplain who not only works with other faiths, but supervises them? And in my own personal life, and this is what I'll share, and I would go on a Christian talk show if they asked me, just like Rabbi Daniel Lapin does, just like Rabbi Shmuley Bateach does, and all these others do this. Obviously, I would not do it the way that this guy does, and this guy should not be calling himself a rabbi or anything else, and he is a liar and a phony, and he should be kicked out of the community, and he should face even probably some civil penalties for what he did, robbing the people with selling Sifrei Torah and stuff. He should face civil and maybe even criminal charges for that, because he sold bad goods, and he benefited from that. But the question is, how do I deal with it myself when I'm dealing with Christians and Muslims and even pagans and all kinds of things? And the way that I deal with it is that I try to say every day, and I did before I made this video, the Shir Yichud. I know it's controversial whether or not one should say the Shir Yichud, and there's even some people claim that it was written by somebody of a different faith. But the fact of the matter is, it's a lesson in theology and monotheism that I think is valuable and useful for any Jewish person. You're looking for something to give you some chizik. I think it's a very useful tool to gain that type of chizik. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comments. We'll see you later.